I'm not a jerk. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, you're biologically a man. Like,
but what are we gonna do here? If you don't want to play with men because you don't feel like you're a man, you're too fast for the women.
Yeah.
And then if we make a transgender category, you're mad because you think that that's keeping you away from me. So there is no.
Yeah. I'm saying that the only way to make this actually right is to have a new category.
Right.
That a lot of people don't want to exist. Specifically, transgender people do not want this category to exist for the reason you're saying. Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. We're going to talk about women in sports and this transgender situation going on with Leah Thomas and the transgendered swimmer from Penn State. I think she's been in Penn State, and she won. So she won this whole.
She won the 500 meter.
Right.
She whooped them.
Yeah, and then she broke a record.
She set new records.
Right. So now everyone's saying now that it's not right for her to
be able to compete with with biological women.
And so I agree. Yeah. She's feeling like I followed all the rules that she needs to be. Yeah. So I guess she had to do the suppressants. She's been doing that, taking more estrogen and all that stuff. So she did all that. I think you have to wait like a year or two before you can actually compete. You have to let that all settle in.
You have to be on hormones for a full year.
Right.
And then she's been on it for the last 2 to 3 years.
Right. So she's done all she. And when it comes to the rules, she did all she could to, abide by the rules. But the thing is that when she was in men's sports, right, the men's, she wasn't breaking records like that.
Right.
And so now she's in women's sports, she's breaking records, and it's really because she's biologically a male. And when you're a transgender woman, there are advantages to you physically when it comes to, especially when it comes to competitive sports. You are more than likely going to beat these women. And so I don't know how the rest of the team is going.
For me, I'm standing up for women's rights.
Yeah.
And this is where women's rights matters. Yeah, right. Because women and men don't play together because of biological differences. So if biological men can now compete, then men will dominate this. They already dominate sports. They make the most money. Men are more, I guess, athletic because their bodies are built to be more athletic than our bodies. You know what I mean? So, the NBA makes more than the WNBA. It's like, even in the Olympics.
Yeah, I think all sports.
All sports. It's just that our bodies are different. But I think that if you allow biological men to now compete with women, it will be the end of women's sports because women can't beat men. That's it. So feminists should be all over this.
Yeah.
But they're not because they pack themselves in a corner now too because they're saying we're just alike. And if they say that that's not fair, then what they're kind of saying is that we aren't the same.
Yes.
And that gets rid of the feminist aspect of things. Now, for me, I think this is wrong. And I feel a little bad for Leah as well because she's going through a thing that I have. Is she going through something that I
don't understand.
Or even know what it's about? It must be hard to be a man and then believe
Want
that you are a woman. And now here you are trying to live your life as a woman. And now you've entered women's sports, and there's some roadblocks because now they're making her feel like a man again.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, to me, I just think that this is a mistake.
Joe Rogan actually talked about this before, not about Leah, but just in general. Is that so men are. This is the part where men are different than women.
Yeah.
Biologically, they're just more. They're stronger. And I don't know if a lot of women like hearing that, particularly from women, but I just think that when you look at the biological and science part of it, men are just stronger and faster than women. Now, it's not to say that women can never beat a man, right? In this sports and, competitive. I've seen women beat, men in sports, just challenging men. And so, I've seen women win. So it's not saying they can never win. What I'm saying is that they will the majority of the time. And this is a situation where I think that it's just an imbalance. Like it's slanted. This is a slanted situation because she's going to win and she has, and she's broke records. And I don't know how the other other like women athletes like that are compete
Well, I
with her
think it's
field,
funny that a lot of
it would
women,
be weird.
a lot of the girls that are in the thing is that men feel like, I know I watch a lot of conservative channels, and a lot of those conservative men think this is wrong. However, they cannot fight unless women do.
Right.
And I get that. If women aren't going to fight, then what's the point?
Yeah.
Now women are. The girls that are on her team, that are competing against her, are now starting to say stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think she was 38 seconds
38 seconds
ahead of the second place winner.
Right.
So that is like the guy. What we're watching Jimmy Dore, like that guy said, people juice to just get 3 seconds ahead.
Yeah, to win.
And also, there's the other part is that if women took testosterone, that would be considered doping, and they would have to leave. So her genetic makeup.
She's doing
just right. So I'm saying, so if they were allowed to then take testosterone, then they would probably, but they're not. You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
She has it naturally.
I feel that, like you were saying with the doping and stuff, she's doing something that's suppressing the testosterone, but this is a good example of where it didn't even matter.
Well, it doesn't
matter
when
it
some
comes
things
to,
that taking like estrogen, all those pills, that it just can't block. So I think she's like 6'1". She's tall. There's
tall.
A picture. If we can find it, we'll put it. But there is a picture of the girls that are in the.
And then her.
And she towers them.
Yeah.
And her body, and then they put her next to another male swimmer. And they're the same. The width of the shoulders, the everything. So she's literally way taller than them. She has her body mass is a lot stronger. And so she has a huge advantage.
That height. Not that women can't be 6'1" or whatever it is, but it's not even that. It's the width of a man. Because she just naturally was a man. So it's the width of a man that's going to... And I believe that in swimming, they're saying that swimmers, professional swimmers, are saying that the height and mass of your upper body is what aids in you being very fast.
Well, they were saying like the center of gravity for women is in our hips.
Right.
This is the reason why in basketball... they don't jump as high as the NBA players.
Right.
Because our center of gravity is in our hips, theirs is in their shoulders. So that's the reason why they say NBA players or WNBA players are not as athletic as NBA players. But it's the same thing with tennis players. Yeah. And so it's there was a transgender that did the deadlift. And he was like 40 or something, and he also broke a record. Yeah. That was last year. Or sometime in the Olympics. I don't remember what it is. But remember that guy? He I'm gonna mispronounce. Transgender, but he
it's a woman.
She's a woman now, and then she lost. And so what happened the other day was Leah Thompson came in 5th. And then came in last.
So literally directly before this, she was winning, breaking records,
and now all of a sudden she just won't play.
So now they're thinking that she did it on purpose
because she's not getting claps.
The black
and backlash. A lot of people are saying that it's not fair, and to make it look fair, I'm sure somebody probably told her you're gonna have to throw some of these.
Now, when we were watching Jimmy Dore earlier, and he was showing this clip of this whole thing. So they're racing. She wins. So she hits the I guess
she
the side
she hits the wall.
The pool, of the wall. She hits it first. She wins. Okay, no one claps. The clapping literally stops. When the second place came in and she hit the wall, and the third, that's when the crowd started clapping. So it's as if they didn't even acknowledge that being first place because they're like, no, the real winner is that second place woman. Yeah. Because they're viewing her as a man. So this is a very weird, controversial. And
the funny thing is that the reason why we know that it is in a way, this is how we know that it's an unfair advantage, is because there are no transgendered men competing. Yes. There are transgender male athletes, but none of them can place. Because women cannot beat men. Right, yeah. Physically. They can't. Like athletic women and athletic men are still women, like we were just talking about Serena and Venus earlier when they said that they could challenge any man in the top 200 in tennis.
Yeah.
And they put that challenge out there, and the guy that was 203rd.
She and Venus or Serena even said we're ready to beat any man,
both of them,
who's in the top 200 of the athletic tennis, tennis people. And so she put it out there. We're ready for that challenge. Yeah, and Venus they both did it.
So the top two, whoever the top 200 of male tennis players, they were well in the challenge. Well, no one really wanted to challenge them, but the 203rd did take up their challenge. They said, "I'll do it." Yeah,
this guy. Again insert his husband. And he did it. He's from Germany. He's from Germany.
Like we were watching the thing, and this guy, not only did he play them, but he woke up, played like 19 holes at golf.
Yeah.
He drank
and
while
smoked.
He was playing. He was drinking all the time he was playing golf.
Yeah.
And then came to the tennis court, and in between beating them was drinking and smoking.
Right. He's a 203rd best tennis player.
He beat both of them.
He beat, under those circumstances.
He beat the brakes off them too. It wasn't even like, them. And this guy looks like it was either inebriated and smoking cigarettes.
Right.
And had been out.
Yeah.
And had been playing golf. And he still beat both of them.
And this is
no real effort.
Venus and Serena, these are the two top. I mean, these two women are, I think that there's not really a debate with this one. They're literally the best tennis players out there.
Fast forward to today, Serena's not saying that anymore.
No, yeah.
Now she's telling the truth. She's like, well, there's no way I could.
She said she doesn't remember saying doing that, but I think she's being tongue in cheek about it. But she's like, I don't remember that. It's been so long ago that I made that challenge. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember. I'm like, yeah, you did, and then he beat you. Like he beat you. But it's a good example though because he wasn't even the top of his.
He was the 203rd, not even the 200. And like Jimmy Dore was saying, it's funny that she didn't even say the top 10. Yeah. So in some place in their mind, they knew
that possibly.
First of all, top 10 is not going to play you. Second of all, the fact that you would even be okay with someone who's under 50. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The 50th player. That it's like you wanted to give anybody.
Slates it in her direction to win.
And this guy who comes to play them, plays both of them. Beats them while he's been drinking.
Even in the picture they show of him,
he just looks a little drunk.
He looks a little drunk, a little bit out of shape. I think that someone
they said he doesn't even look like a professional.
I think someone said at that time he wasn't really even that in shape, and he still like beat the brakes off of them.
And then there were the two high school girls that were in track that are transgendered, and they went and broke records. Mm-hmm. And so see how it's always men turning into women, but not the other way around.
Right.
And so men are like dominating us as women. Mm-hmm. Even in like beauty contests, the Miss America was transgender. You know what I mean?
But you know what's funny is that this is all okay. So now we got the beauty pageant thing. And I think that people are starting to get all in an uproar over all of this now. But the truth is that same people that have been like, exclusive, bring everybody in. You can do it. Those people are saying that now are like, wait a minute. And then she won. Didn't she win?
No, she won. She won Miss USA or Miss America.
She won.
She's pretty.
Now
I think the Hodge twins did a video on it, but she's pretty.
Can you imagine?
But the truth is like
being a woman. And then in that situation, and then you realize that they're all like clapping for her, like, "Yay, you won!" How'd that happen?
Well, a lot of these girls are saying that the reason why a lot of these other girls are not really saying anything about the transgender thing is they fear losing their scholarship from hate speech.
Yeah,
and that's true. You know when white people
when
white people used to always say, before they had to say something about black person, they go, I have friends that are black. Yeah. Now black people are having to say that to transgender people. I have friends that are transgender. This is why white people, I think, used to do that. It's because whenever you disagree with someone that they considered a victim or a victim group, or they feel like you're punching down and not punching up, then they feel like then you feel like you have to make sure everyone knows that you know people
and you that preference
before you say what you have to say. Well, look, I have in my past known. I don't know anyone right now, but I don't feel like I don't have to say that. For conversation. I mean, now even Caitlyn Jenner has weighed in on this.
Oh, she did.
And
she
did. She said, I think that the NCAA or whatever the rules committee has failed these girls because there are a lot of things. So she's transgender, so she was like, there are a lot of things that I think she's like, I'm transgender, so I'm for transgender rights. But the truth is she's an Olympian. So she said there are huge advantages to being a transgender male in sports. And this isn't the fault of Leah. Yeah. Leah's actually doing everything, because she said Leah's actually doing everything within the rules. So she's not cheating.
Yeah.
She's just
she should be able to play sports.
The colleges and stuff have come out for Leah because they are afraid probably of being considered transphobic and things like that. So everybody has to be inclusive. Yeah. So she was just like this. The rules need to be stronger on this because women's sports can easily be taken over.
But people are now saying that should there be a category of transgender women's sports and transgender men's sports, like within the NCAA, but that gets weird.
But this is the thing with the transgender ideology, is that they think they are women.
Yes, I know.
So if you have a transgender category, you're saying that they're different, and they're trying to say no, they are like us, biological women. They're just women. And so if you give them a category, you're separating them from the females, the biological females. And see, the thing that I don't like about this is not that I don't care. You can live however you want to live. This is none of my business anyway. But whatever, But why is it that we're only protecting feelings of transgender women, but not biological women? What about those girls' feelings? But what about the girls who were born women and have worked really, really hard to compete against the top average of the last winner?
Think about the woman who came in second.
Now, no one's ever going to be able to beat her. I mean, so the record she set a record. Now, you have to be able to, in order to be a woman, a biological woman, to win, you have to now beat that record. Yeah. Which most women have never been able, ever.
I would love to know how the second place winner felt with that. One that came second.
I think that she did say something. I got to look at the video, but there was some women there. I think that they've been coming out now because they feel like their sport is being taken over. But they don't know how to talk about it because as soon as they do, they do run the risk of maybe being kicked off the team, maybe losing their scholarships, maybe, you know what I mean? And they don't want to offend anybody because now we're policing everyone's speech. Like what I'm saying right now, we consider hate speech. What we're talking about right now.
Totally.
So you can't disagree with black people, transgender people, gay people, or women. You can't do that. If
not this time.
Not this time. And anytime you say anything against
homophobic, transphobic,
racist,
you
know what I mean. And see, this is the danger of always using the race card, the gay card, when you always use that, you run into these things where then you can be policed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because even like I was saying before, is that even us bringing this subject up it's not really awkward for me, but it is kind of like I feel myself even being slightly conscious. I feel bad for the women who competed with this person because if we're feeling this way, like, getting policed and stuff, then I can imagine how they're feeling. If they're really feeling like, like a man beat me. Like, essentially, I respect that you want to be a woman. I respect that you're living your life as a woman. I respect that you feel you're a woman. That part I do respect. But I'm sure that some of them are kind of like, but you are athletically advantage as a male.
She knows that. You know what I mean? In her heart. The other day she swam the 200 meter. Yeah. And right after that big controversy of her breaking those records, she comes in 5th place.
Right. No, so that's
so now everybody says she lost on purpose. Yeah. Because she got so much backlash. I mean, even after that race, if we have the footage, I'll show you. But she gets out of the pool. The first, second, and third, the girls get together and they congratulate each other. The crowd's erupting, and actually all the girls on the team they came and congratulated. They're like a little huddle, and Leah's like walking off to the back room, by herself. And I think she did it on purpose. Well, then she raced the other day and she lost. She came in dead last. So how can you do? You know what I mean? Like, she thinks that if she loses, then it'll play the lane field. I feel that way. I don't think she lost on purpose. I don't think she won or she lost on accident, like from not being a good swimmer or something. I think she did it on purpose because she got so much pushback. There was a lot of protesters this time outside, saying we got to protect women's. And now and there were a few feminists out there. This is not right. And then there were a lot of protesters out there for Leah's women saying that she is a woman and these women just have to swim faster. Yeah.
Because what can happen is that they keep allowing transgender people to race again, or, to do their, compete against, transgender or biological women and transgender men. And they keep doing this. What's going to happen is that the biological women are going to start doping to catch up, because that would be the only fair. That would be slightly.
How are you going to break a record?
That would be slightly more fair. I mean, obviously I don't agree with doping and all that, but I'm just saying that I feel, and juicing up and all that. But to think about it is that people will. I would think that going forward, if this continues and they keep winning like that, it's so slanted that I feel that a lot of athletes might start to dope.
Yeah, but transgender women aren't stupid. Yeah. They're going to lose some of these races because they know that if all of a sudden we have transgender runners, transgender swimmers, transgender, and then they win everything below, they know that they might get kicked off. See, in order for them to stay on the team, it's going to have to look fair. If they just go out and blow out these women in all these different categories of sports, then the head of the athletic commissions will then have to say, well, okay,
we have to reevaluate.
We will have to reevaluate.
Yeah. But hearing Caitlin speak, it does make a lot of sense. And then not even that, scientists about people have done enough research, physical research on men and women's
physical abilities.
Their makeup, and it's I feel like it's enough research to say that men are in this way stronger than women, and I know that in this day and age, don't you feel like it's not a lot of women wouldn't like hearing that because it sounds like what you're saying is that women are weak. And that's what I don't want. That's the message I don't want to get across because I'm not saying that, especially not competitively. Look, when I see women playing sports, I'm thinking, I mean, like, people have a gift. A lot of people have a gift to play sports, and they want to do that. So I think they should be able to, but I don't think it should be slanted this so much where everyone's uncomfortable now. I'm talking about both. I'm talking about Leah, transgender women. I'm talking about biological women. But you know what I mean? Yeah. But we're in a society now where you have to include everyone.
Well, I mean, it's like there are plenty of girls that got bumped. That got bumped because there's 16 girls that can swim. And so a biological girl got bumped for her to be on the thing. And so now women's sports isn't looked at as much as men. So a lot of people think that the NCAA is just trying to get eyes on women's sports. So they added her. It just goes to show you there are just things biologically that we want. And that's what Jordan Peterson's point when he was saying that what does it say, the outcome of things should be the same? No, he's saying that he said you can't compare the two, and we shouldn't be trying to make outcomes the same.
Right.
Because then you take away from people's natural abilities when you try to make women as equal as men. Just let people do what they want to do naturally, and then you'll see where it lands. Don't be trying to insert women because you want to see women be, you know what I mean? Right. Just let things happen naturally. You know what I mean? I mean, we should have the opportunities to do things, of course, but the outcomes are really based on our own abilities individually. Yeah. It shouldn't be forced into something to make an ideology more popular. And that's what I have a problem with this thing, is that it can take away from women's sports. Women's sports is really not funded very much, and it also doesn't get a lot of eyeballs.
Well, which was the point that Caitlin was making, is that we need women's sports because
otherwise that's it.
Yeah, that's it. And then also there are athletic women out here. I mean, like, there are athletic women out here, so they have to be able to have their.
And a lot of transgender women are athletic.
Yeah, and that's just the truth. So it's like, but
what if they just start dominating?
What's the? I mean, I guess the thing is, like, what is the actual answer? Like, what do you think? So what do you think the actual answer would be?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, but there are just some things. To me, there are just things that I can't be a model. You know what I mean? I can't be a model. There are things that, but I don't think, I can't be a model. I can't be an actress. Yeah. There are just things that we are just really good at. There are things you're better at than I am.
Right.
You know, with Leah, I get it. But if she were swimming with men, she wasn't in the top, whatever. When she started swimming with women, she was. I mean, I think that there are just some choices that you have to make. I hate saying this, but is it more important to be a woman, or is your swimming more important? I know they both are, but at some point,
do you choose? How do you do this? You know, I'm not a jerk. Like, I don't want to be like, you're biologically a man. You know, that's just, to me, it's just so what's called one-dimensional thinking. Like, you have to be able to have. That's why we have these conversations, because I feel like we're trying not to be one-dimensional here. Personally speaking, in my own personal opinion, I do kind of feel for Leah. Like you were saying, because she wants to have her swimming outlet. Yeah, she's a competitive swimmer.
But what are we gonna do here? If you don't want to play with men because you don't feel like you're a man, you're too fast for the women.
Yeah.
And then if we make a transgender category, you're mad because you think that that's keeping you
that's
away
keeping away from me.
So there is no.
Yeah. I kind of think that I'm leaning more towards. I kind of think in order to do that to make it fair, I feel like transgenders should race against transgenders.
Yeah.
I feel like that. To me, I feel like that would be the only solution to this situation. Because it wouldn't be confusing anymore.
Well, because when women wanted to play sports, we had to have a women's category.
Yeah.
When handicapped people wanted, like the Special Olympics,
we had
to have a category for that. You know what I mean? You can't play. You know, you have to play within your range. So the same thing here is if transgender people now want to play, then there has to be a space for them.
People in the Special Olympics are not going to compete with the people in the regular Olympics. You know
But I can guarantee you're never going to see any woman on the NFL. No transgender man. You're not going to do it because I don't care as how athletic you are as a transgender man. You are never going to be able to beat biological men. Yeah. That's just not going to happen. You're never going to see anyone playing an NBA that's a transgender male. You're not, because it's just not a thing. You just can't. All this seems to be happening just to the women's sports. It's not happening to men's sports at all.
Yeah. Right.
So right there, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Tells you
there are a lot of transgender men that are athletic and they play sports.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about like they really play.
Yeah.
And they just can't. They can't make the cut because they can't make the cut. If they play with women, they can.
It's because they're biologically women. They can't play with men.
And now what are you going to do? Keep losing a little bit so you can feel like...
So that's what I'm saying. Like it's fair? The only way to make this...
Are you really having fun then?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The only way to make this actually right is to have a new category.
Right.
That a lot of people don't want to exist, specifically transgender people do not want this category to exist for the reason you're saying, is because they feel that they're trying to live a life.
I'm the cisgender woman, and you're the woman.
No.
I don't get that.
We're not women. We're cisgender. So,
and then this whole policing people's language is what's also wrong.
Yeah.
You can't say anything or you offend everybody. Right. You were just telling me the other day about people who are just too sensitive. And the thing is, it's like, I agree with you.
That's the next one.
It's just, okay. But I'm just saying that this whole policing people's language is also making this go. What's also making things awkward. It's because those girls that are on that team can't say anything because they're afraid that they're going to lose scholarships or they're afraid they're going to be offensive. And I think even the girls that did the weightlifting, that when they asked, there's a press conference when they asked her, they asked these girls who just did a complete competition, what do you feel about the transgender person on your team? Why are you asking her that? Why are you asking these women? And there was crickets. Yeah. All three of those girls just stood at the podium and went like this. Yeah. And they look mad. They look mad because they want to
talk about
they want to talk about their accomplishments, but they realize that it's being co-opted by someone.
Right.
It's just like Leah. Like Leah, this is not even about those other girls. It's all about her, and it's what gets media attention.
Yeah.
And so those girls who've been working their asses off for like years are now being pushed aside for someone's feelings, and their feelings get left.
So I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know what you guys think. Do you guys think that the answer, like, what do you guys think? Do you think that it's better to have a separate, like a transgender competitions now? There should be a third category added? Because, men's sports, women's sports, transgender sports. Or is that is that way too?
I mean, do you think that I'm wrong?
Is that rude?
Or you think we're wrong? Do you think that it's wrong? Do you think that women should suck it up?
Yeah.
And to deal with the times?
Let us know what you think. We are very curious about that. This is a very weird topic.
It's a hot topic.
It's a hot topic.
Everybody's talking about it.
So leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it. That's it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And we will see you in the next video. Bye.